Part 1. The Traveling Salesman, July 13th, 1934 to July 23rd, 1934. 1. Somebody had to burst Sally Rand's bubble. And I was elected. I was, after all, the guy she'd hired to find out the truth about the self-professed oil millionaire from Oklahoma who'd proposed to her last Saturday night, after a month of flowers and gifts and nights on the town. Though Christ knows where Sally found the time for the old boy, what with her various shows at the Paramount Club, the Chicago Theater, and, of course, here at the streets of Paris at the World's Fair. Sally had made the World's Fair, you see. Or at least that's what her press agent had led everybody but Chicago to believe. Story was the poor old Century of Progress exhibition was a dismal flop till Sally dropped her pants and climbed behind her ostrich plumes, at which point the fair's turnstiles began spinning like the city fathers in their graves. Only that was a press agent's dream. The fair was its own dream come true, and help from Sally Rand was appreciated but hardly crucial. Chicago had watched through the fall, winter, and spring as the Art Deco spires rose from 86 acres along the lake, and by summer, the city was eager to leave hard times temporarily behind to enter the city of tomorrow. The turnstiles were spinning from the fair's first morning, and Sally was only one of a small army of exotic dancers who helped fan the latter-day Chicago fire. Because there was more than naked women to see at the fair. Like silk stockings being woven, and a Gutenberg Bible, and the press it had been printed on, like the Silver Streak Streamliner, and an automobile assembly line, and something called television. You could even see $1 million at the Federal Building under armed guard, or $1 million worth of diamonds at the General Exhibits Building, similarly guarded. And kids of all ages could wonder at Sinclair Oil's plaster dinosaurs and the Seminole Village where real live Indians wrestled real live alligators. And you could see Time and Fortune magazine covers 2 stories high and a thermometer 19 stories higher than that. You could see a lot more than just Sally Rand in the nude. Not that there was anything wrong with seeing Sally Rand in the nude. I'd seen her show last year, the first year of the fair, and she, by damn, didn't have anything on under there but her. The boys hadn't been lying. And I understood this year she'd traded her plumes in for a big transparent balloon, a bubble, she called it, and was nuder than ever. I supposed most healthy male Chicagoans had made it out to Sally's show during the opening week of the fair. But this was my first time this summer to the Century of Progress, though it had been open over a month already, because I'd had my fill of the place the summer before. Like a lot of people in Chicago, for me, the 1933 fair had meant work. Thousands of jobs had been created by the Dawes brothers, Rufus T., president of the fair, and his older brother, General Charles G., former vice president of the United States, under Coolidge, thought by many to be the real brains behind the Century of Progress. Say what you will about the Dawes brothers, dismiss them as businessmen bankers whose efforts were self-serving, if you like, but they saw to it that a lot of dough got pumped into the Windy City. Hotels were packed, and the hotels could use it. Most of them were verging on bankruptcy before the fair, and restaurants and theaters did booming business, as did the newly reopened nightclubs and taverns, or at least newly openly reopened, after beer became legal in April of '33, during the fair's first summer. Prohibition gasped its last dry gasp. Repeal was only months away, and the Century of Progress, awash in beer as it was, thanks to the Capone Nitti outfit, who were willing to sell people suds even if it was legal, became a celebration of a better, wetter tomorrow. Of course, many, probably most, of the fairgoers were from out of town, and amid all those solid citizens from the farms and villages of the Midwest were pickpockets from everywhere else. And that's where I came in. Me, Nathan Heller, a private operative, but formerly a plainclothes dick on the pickpocket detail. Having that background, I'd been hired to coach the pith-helmeted private police force working the fairgrounds in the fine art of the dip. Or should I say, the fine art of spotting and nabbing the dip. And I'd done some supervising throughout the summer and fall, until the close of the fair in November. The job had paid a pretty penny. I'd been hired by General Dawes himself, not because I was such a stalwart citizen, but because I had him over a barrel. And that's another story, which has been told elsewhere. For the purposes of this narrative, it's enough to say that once General